But it is, you can see, very shallow. But there's a lot of little food trucks around the island. They only take cash. The gentleman at this one, Ferris, he used to be a doctor from the country he came from in the Middle East. So he's here, but that's what he does. Here's a little local fishing pier. And some of those boats, I mean, they go out in the little bitty boats sometimes. And you look at them out in the rough water and it's like, how do they stay afloat? But they do. They fish with just a spool of monofilament. Their hands, you can always tell the fishermen because their hands are calloused. Now there is the sink there for the fishermen, so hopefully they'll come back safely. They're still working on the restrooms down here, which is much needed. But again, you're going to be directly in front of us. And I think you'll understand when you get back why it's my favorite place on the island. The sand is very sandy there, so you will not have any shouldn't have any troubles walking in the sand or in the water. You may feel a little coral here and there, but it's not anything that'll be bad.
Too, but I don't want to go in the water on my phone. So I'll meet you out there. take a picture of the dudes. Yeah. This looks pretty rocky down that way.
It is a beautiful area. It's very peaceful, and I could just get away. I feel like I've gone somewhere. So, and I have. I've gone to a beautiful spot at the beach. Now, coming up on your left-hand side of the bus, there's going to be a cactus fence. And the cactus fence is, to me, very special because it's the best security system you can have on this island.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of ideas and possibly some bad thoughts about people I know. But anyway, you can see how they've made that cactus fence. So it is quite interesting. It is made out of the datu cactus. The datu cactus, there's 3 species of cactus I'll talk about. There's the datu, which we make fences out of. There's the kadushi, which we make liquor out of. And then there's the prickly pear, which they call tuna here in Papiamento. So with the datu cactus, what they end up doing is one of the cactus that grows more straight up. There's the kadushi, which is wild and leggy. And then there's, of course, the prickly pear that looks like Mickey Mouse ears. But with the datu, what they do is they'll cut it around full moon. They cut it in dry season. And they're going to do that about 1.5 times your height. And when they do that, they let it go to the ground. And if you would lay your hand out here with your finger down for me, I just need one finger. And what it'll do is it'll lay flat on the ground. And so they're going to take this instrument, which are much larger, called a cheat and a chop. And they're going to actually go underneath the cactus to pick it up, and they'll go crossways with it. And then they move their cactus around. So that's how they actually move the cactus. Thank you very much. Good demonstrator. But that's what they actually do here to move the cactus around. Now, with that fence, they can put up some horizontal wood and some vertical wood, kind of give it a framework. Because all they're going to do is lay that piece of cactus that they just cut up against it. Where they cut and they place it towards the ground, once they make contact with the ground, it only takes about 2 to 3 days for it to start rooting. It takes it longer for the roots to get established, but it only takes 2 to 3 days for those roots to start. Now, the one thing I can tell you about an actual cactus fence is if a local person, a Bonairean, builds that cactus fence for you, for every yard of fence that you need built, it's going to cost anywhere from $50 to $250. So keep that in mind as well, because it can be an expensive venture. But a lot of the people here, if they're locals, they build it themselves, and they know how to do it. One other thing I want to talk about is the mangroves. We are in an area with a lot of mangroves in here, and mangroves are vital for the economy, or not the economy, but for the ecology here on the island. The mangroves are the first line of defense for any storm that comes here. We are outside of the hurricane belt, but again, we can get wind reversals and surges, things like that. Also, we have been known to have a hurricane here, but that was back in the 80s, and that was Lenny. A couple of years ago, a sailboat didn't tie up their boat very well, and it ended up on the street on the street right where your ship is. So you never know what can happen here. And with that, we have mangroves, and there's 3 different types of mangroves. And if you want to look back over to your right, you're going to see where you've just been. Also, you're going to see a lot of sargassum there, and that's what those booms are about. They are trying to keep the sargassum out of the mangroves. Now, when you look at the mangroves, you get those that are going to be further in the water, and they got these big spider legs on them. Those are going to be the red mangroves. Then you have the black mangroves, which will be still in the water, but they have like pencil roots shooting up. Those both work on the system of reverse osmosis. What they will do is they take the seawater in, but they get the salt out through their leaves. That's much like our drinking water is here. North of where your ship is, the water comes in from the sea. It goes through a lot of filtration at the plant, and we do reverse osmosis or desalination here on the island. We truly have some of the best drinking water on the island, in my opinion. It is expensive. They don't recommend using it for water lawns, so you will very seldom see a patch of green grass. I just saw some goats running from us. Hopefully we'll be seeing more, but again, I don't know what's coming at me. If you take a deep breath right now, you're going to smell something that smells like a rotten egg. That is the sargassum. That's what happens to it when it gets built up. And they bring the sargassum out of the water, and they put it, there's an area over here that they put it at. Look at the beautiful picture. Now, but it does make this rotten egg sulfur smell. That's what it's all about. And it is an algae bloom. It is something that occurs in nature. It's not anything unusual. You will sometimes see birds in there eating things. And you will also see from time to time the fish that are in there eating whatever they find to eat as well. But there's nothing in there that's going to harm you. It's just ugly. And then when it starts drying out, it stinks. But there's also going to be the white mangrove, which is going to be probably on the other side of the road. It does not need the water as much as the others do. We are going to be on the lookout again for donkeys, goats, and more flamingos, because we did see all 3 of them last trip taking them back. And as you can tell, we're going a completely different way. And so this will give you something more to see and talk about. This particular island, many years ago, at one point, there was the name on the map called No Name Island. There was also another name for the island called Brasilia Tree or Dyewood Island. The Spanish knew about this, and then the Dutch, when they came here, they cut a lot of the Brasilia wood trees. And inside the Brasilia wood trees, there is a red bark. And with that red bark, they could actually have people rasp it. And that's what they wanted. They could actually make red dye out of what the interior of the tree looked like, the core of the tree. And if you know, dyes are very hard to come by, especially in nature. And back in those days, it was extremely hard and extremely expensive. And red was a very hard color to make. But they would take it to the prison houses, to the jails. And the prisoners there would actually be called the raspers. You could always tell who they were because their hands were red from actually with the water combing out the tree bark. And so this is an interesting piece. I can pass it around, and I'm very
Okay, so
glad
reel
to
it
do
quick,
so, but
huh?
leave it in the plastic.
Did you see it?
I don't know if anybody has any reaction to what it's all about.
I didn't see it, so we already passed it. So
Goats on the right. Oh, baby goat. Baby goat. Baby goat. Hopefully we'll have more. I do see a flamingo coming up on the right. He's kind of in the mangroves.
goat on the left.
Goats on the left, donkeys or goats? Yeah, the donkeys and the goats, they blend in with the scenery. So they kind of are camouflage. Now the tree that's laying down.
Oh, he just popped his head out of the flamingo popped his head out.
Oh, there he is. To the right. He's about 3 o'clock. But the tree that's laying down in the marsh or the wetlands over there, that is actually Brazilian tree. Flamingo on the right. There's several further back.
Oh yeah, I've seen another flamingo.
There you go. He's posing. And they're very skittish. You're welcome to open the bottom window and take pictures that way without the glass. But please. Donkeys in front, Paul says. Oh, goats too. What did the goat say when it crossed the road? I don't know. It's funny to look at their colorations.
Oh,
The
thank you.
donkeys are on the right.
Look,
You're
here's
right.
that.
And there's a baby donkey.
Aww.
No, yeah, it is a baby. Look at the goats. Now they will eat. They're hopeful. Have anything? Sorry. Thank you. Sorry. I don't think you need a cough drop. Thank you. I obviously don't do a very good job operating the door. You're saying Dan too?
Cool. We got to see flamingos, donkeys, and goats. No iguanas today.
Coming up ahead, they're over the road where we are and on the right-hand side, not this gate, but the next one, which will be blue, you're going to see some oriole nests in the trees. You can see them on this side of the road. They're hanging down. They're oblong. And they're also going to be inside the fence as well. But the orioles put those nests there at the end of the branches, so the iguanas cannot get to their eggs or to the babies.
Can you see them?
So what happens, the iguanas will go out there and they'll go after the eggs or they'll go after the babies and they'll fall to the ground because they were smart enough to put their nest at the end of the tree, at the end of the branch. Also, there's another plant here called the calabash. The calabash has It's usually a bright green seed pod, and in it, when it ripens, there is a fruit or a substance in it that's really good for mucus, for kids especially. But if you let it dry out, it has a seed pod inside of it. But a lot of people would cut these in half and make a cup. That was their drinking cup. If they added a handle to it, that would make a ladle. If they added holes in it, it was a strainer. So this was a very versatile instrument for them. Some people had told me they would cut a hole in the top. So in addition to the dried seeds, they would put rice and beans in it and add a handle, and you have a musical instrument of a maraca. So it is quite interesting to see if you can pass it around. We also have quite a few agave plants on the island. Agave's tequila. And with the agave plants, some of them you're going to see still have what I call an asparagus stalk coming out of the middle of it. And that asparagus stalk will flower, a beautiful yellow flower. And the birds do love it. But that also signifies that that's the end of that plant's life. And it'll reseed itself and then it'll start all over. To your right is one of the best cactus fences I've ever seen. Also, there are goats inside there. It is a goat farm. And as you notice, some of the trees, they go like the wind. They blow from the east to the west. So they are growing that way because of the constant trade winds here. September is really the only time we don't have a lot of winds. So the mosquitoes like us at that point. Keep in mind, there are no snakes on the island. We do have some scorpions here, and the scorpions, from what I've been told, is like a bee sting. So it's not that debilitating. Now this is an agave with what I call the asparagus stalk on it.
Oh wow, it's huge.
But the mosquito is one of those things that they can be vicious, especially at sundown. And when there's no wind, it's really tough. You can see new construction coming up on the right. Oh, and goats, good, thank you. Construction here is going to vary in price. You're going to find things on the waterfront that'll be over $1 million for just the lot. Then when you come inland, you're going to find things more affordable. But it also depends upon the amenities that people want. This is our putt hut, or a miniature golf. There is also an 18-hole golf course on the island. It's quite adventurous if you do go golfing there. They do hand you one of those pick-up trash things in case you need to get the ball out of the cactus. So it is quite interesting. Again, we have a lot of different people that live on the island. The Chinese Association is on the right, the Peruvian is on the left. You are also going to be seeing a baseball field with the most magnificent field. And it'll be coming up on the right or the left, whichever side that is, the left. Keep in mind, water's expensive here. That is artificial turf. So coming up also is going to be a soccer or football field, as they call it here. Again, that's artificial turf. Now back during World War II, there were American troops on the island as protection. There were American troops on the island. They were here for setting up radar because in this part of the world it is very rich with oil. Back during World War II, 85% of the oil came from this part of the world to supply the Allied troops. With that, Curacao is rich in oil. Venezuela was very friendly with the world at that time. It's not so much that way anymore with Venezuela, but that was a big part of it. But there were German U-boats here. There were also German ships here. So people were doing their part to help protect the islands as well. Look as we go through at some of the construction of the houses. keep in mind, most of them are built from the east to the west, where windows and doors will be on the east and west sides of the houses. That is the main reason. At one time there was no air conditioning here. And so they would open their windows and doors for the air to blow through. That was their air conditioning at that time. Now most houses have at least air conditioning in the bedrooms. But what they would do is put the kitchen always on the west side of the house. With the wind blowing from the east into the west, the hot air from the kitchen was the first thing out the window. So they were very smart and intuitive, and they worked with what they had, which was very important. You're also going to see possibly some houses, they may have had a cistern where they would collect the rain from the roof of the house, and that way they would have water easily accessible for them. Now, water does flow freely with the pipes that come to the houses directly, so they do have that option. Coming up is going to be one of the 5 roundabouts on the island, and if you think about it, you did not see a traffic light today. You also did not see many high-rises or a lot of anything over about 3 stories tall. Maybe 4, and that would be only if the ceiling heights were not going to be very high. So coming up on your left-hand side is going to be one of the true Dutch grocery stores here. They have a lot of good things in there, but they're good and cheap and really good. Also, if you turn down to your left, there's a lot of more grocery stores. There's also going to be a lot of car repair shops. On this island, think about it, salt air, salt water, you have a lot of rust. So you have a lot of local or Bonairean vehicles. My husband drives one, and it's a bucket of bolts because it's all rusted. But it does what it needs to do. But I was always told with Bonaire that they will never build buildings or structures higher than the highest church steeple, which that is going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 stories, depending upon ceiling heights. Now, speaking of my husband, coming up on the left is his favorite store that he's never been in, called the Future Shop. They sell underwear, gift shop, and bones. They lay it all out there. So it is quite interesting to see. Now, this is going to be another one. You had 3 roundabouts today. So, enjoy. But you will be able to see the highest church steeple if you look straight ahead. And just know that your ship is the biggest structure on this island today. Now, I am going to give you just a little bit of information. This is the Bonairean flag. The yellow stands for the sunshine that shines brightly. The white is for the good air that is here. The blue is for the water, which provides food for a lot of the people that live here. Also is their livelihood. The black circle is the compass to help bring the sailors home safely. And the red is for the 6 original villages that were on the island. That is the heart and blood, the local Bonairean people. And the 6 original villages here in Klondike, which used to be Playa. You've been through Nikki Boko and Terracora just now. Also, Rincon, you've heard me talk about. That is in the valley up north. Also, there is going to be North Selenia and Montreal. So those are the 6 original islands. But as Paul and I come to the end of the trip, we want to say thank you. We greatly appreciate you spending time with us today, and we hope that you have enjoyed the tour. I hope. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that we've answered your questions that you may have had before you got on the bus. And I hope that you'll come back and visit with us, whether it's on another cruise or by air. You know that we have flights here. If you look down to your right, that is our main street. That is Calle Grande. It's about 4 blocks long. So there's not much to our shopping district here. But we want to say, if you have a chance to write a review and you enjoyed the tour, please let them know that Janie
Unsatisfied with